button. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spinner Rack. I'm here with the boys. We got CA, Professor CA, Calvin Ellis, and we got PD. Say what's up, gents.
Yep.
What up?
Today we're looking at episode 5 of Loki. Oh my goodness, if there was not enough Lokis, the sky is raining Lokis. What the hell is going on here, we gotta say. In this episode, we've seen quite a bit of stuff. We're getting to the final episode, and things are being revealed to us right now. Loki falls straight into this, as we can see, when you get pruned, you don't actually die. You go to this world at the very end where you start seeing where everything comes through, and this monster, Alioth, comes through. Comic book monster, by the way. And he comes through and starts just demolishing and eating and destroying all matter and all energy. And of course, Loki falls in with a new crew of Lokis. Kid Loki, Boastful Loki, Crocodile Loki, and of course, Classic Loki. The look is, as you can see right here, is Classic Loki, the one that we have PD put on, you know, with the horns from the original Loki. And so here they are basically just trying to, you know, figure out what to do. We also find a whole new crew of Lokis with a President Loki there, with a whole other crew of Loki. They can't even trust each other to do anything. That's the thing with Lokis, you know, they're so mischievous and stuff. And lastly, we have Lady Loki, Sylvie. She comes in, she prunes herself to go hook up with our boy Loki. Does she really like him? I'm not sure, but we're going to discuss all these things, what you thought about the episode, any big surprises. I'm going to bring it down to my boy, Cal. What's your take so far on what you've been seeing so far on this episode?
A whole lot of what we saw from the last point, not a lot of movement. Shouldn't have started with me.
Okay.
You know what? I'm gonna pass this. I'm gonna pass this over here. Hey, Professor CA, take it away.
Yeah, there's a lot of movement. People are moving from here to there. We're finding out things. We're seeing creatures we've never seen before. It's all very dazzling. Still don't know who the antagonist is, or the plot setting, or I don't know. But yeah, Loki. But Throg. I saw Throg.
Where'd you see Throg?
Yeah, they had it there when they were in the building.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
You didn't see it? Oh, it's right when they're going underground. Mm-hmm. And they give you one of those shots where they're showing you what's actually in the dirt. And you see Thor's hammer. Mm-hmm. And then you see a jar with a cover on it with something little jumping up and down in it. And it's labeled. It's like a kind of like a medical label. It's like T whatever, but the number is the actual cover of the Throg introduction. And if you look carefully, yeah, it's little Throg trying to do his thing.
All right, we have to put a pin on that one and talk about later, so I don't want to forget that. So
yep,
I'm going to go on a diatribe about that. If that's the case, if you know, there's something I missed that I got to go check. So let's keep going. Keep it going. It's on me now?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Well, this one was a little more enjoyable because there was a bunch of Lokis. And they're kind of fighting and whatnot. So when he meets the first group, it's like, first off, I think the monster kind of reminded me of having the lost smoke monster, but having it visual. So it's like, hey, instead of the smoke monster sneaking up on them, now we get to see it well in the sky. But when they get to that little layer that they're in, and Loki, of course, has to do his breakout, and then there's 3 million Lokis. That's when it kind of got good for me because they, it was just sort of silliness, and then next thing you know, they're downstairs in a big fight, and this is one of the fights I was okay with. I was okay with this fight because it was just like silliness. Loki, fights the alligator, or crocodile Loki, crocodile Loki bites off the hand. You got all this sort of fun stuff. Then when they go above ground, it got a little sort of like, I guess, some somber kind of a little. Like these moments between Loki and Lady Loki, you're just thinking better than saying Sylvie. And then Loki puts the blanket around her, and it's just like it's turning into those variant, the variant sister. Hey, my variant sister videos. But anyway, it's I'm not sure what was happening, but there was a little bit more weirdness. I think the classic Loki, even though they did a lot of cool stuff with the costume, and they kind of did it like a court jester, I think they kind of it was sort of on the balance of really putting a lot of time into it, but then kind of having it so it would be a little. So it really kind of worked in the classic sort of. I wanted to say, but it's more like the John Buscema sort of one, even though it has the look of the Kirby one. This sort of like real weathered, even more weathered than the Kirby one. That's sort of what they kind of got out of this. So it was interesting. I think Ron Fred sort of carried that on to having Loki be like really like a person who has like this thing on, sort of scowl on his face, whereas Walt Simonson kind of played it back to that Loki really enjoyed himself, like what we see in Tom Middleton. Like he's someone who really kind of enjoys himself, and he's I think in this that he is considered himself handsome and that sort of thing. So this one was a little more in a better direction, even though it was one of the things like, what's going on here? All right, let's just see what happens in the next one. Let's see what goes on. So,
I mean, I gotta agree with you on some of that, and that it's a fun episode. One of the things that the secrets to Loki and the secret to the character as well as the show is that Tom Middleton, the actor, doesn't take himself too seriously.
Mm-hmm.
He knows this is a joke. It's like he's in it. Look at what I'm gonna do. I mean, the only thing I'm waiting for him is to break the fourth wall and just talk to us, and give us.
Yes, I want to see him sort of be the Loki, like the Loki who kind of inadvertently causes the Ragnarok. Like that's sort of like some stuff really weighs in the stuff he does. He's been kind of a great sort of villain for Marvel, but I mean, I think if you look, I was thinking about the first Avengers. A lot of the stuff that he's doing is like, all right, they capture him, and he's like there, but then of course it's into what he wants to do. He's getting connected to the Tesseract. It causes all this melee to happen, extending his powers from there. And then, so that's what we're not sort of seeing, but we're getting someone, I guess the audience can, I mean, I don't like when they do it. They try to connect with it because we have obviously Sylvie who's like, oh, I've been taken from my family, and she has all this anguish, angst, and all this other stuff. So it's like Loki's trying to be. So I guess it's when they have this moment, he's having a sort of like a sibling instead of what it look kind of is. We look at it like, oh, this is kind of weird. This is weird, but let's see what happens in the next one because I'm not sure. Is it with the take down the TVA or the reveal? I'm not sure where it's going. Is it the reveal of who's really running and controlling it, and it's probably going to be the way this is going, another Loki. Like what?
Hold on. Let's not talk about that. Let's take.
Who else could be running it?
I think.
Sorry.
Exactly, because that is exactly what. Hell, let's just talk about it now. Who could be doing it? Okay, and the rundown only makes perfect sense. TVA has specifically been targeting Lokis, right? Because clearly they can go all to the end of time, and they can see who will be the one who causes the most mischief. So there's a reason why Lokis are being chosen again and again and again. Who would be most?
And the Lokis are the only one that can figure out the place to hide in these things. It seems like the Lady Loki figured he can hide in these things. The closest is Gugu kind of like figuring out the little bit of where the TVA is supposed to be, but they're still in the same vein of where the Lokis have been doing. So, which they never had an inkling of where to find them before that. So,
right.
So what do you think about that, Professor CA? Who do you think behind the whole shebang?
Yeah, there's a couple of choices. I think I would put at this point, I'm really hoping there's going to be some standard writing practices. I feel like the name of the show was Loki. So my guess is that the antagonist, the protagonist, everything is Loki. And Loki and he put him on this journey of like self-discovery or this idea that, hey, you can change. He gets this like really great one-time therapy session with Mobius that really worked wonders. And now I feel like where it should end up, where it should kind of circle up. No, it was really a good therapeutic session. He got to the core in like 20 minutes. So I feel like the way to kind of bring that full circle is for him to face himself again. He's already given his heart and become less selfish. So I'm going to go, there's plenty of choices. I'm either going to go with Tom Hiddleston, King Loki version is in charge, or that one of the characters that are already established is also a Loki, and they're at the end of the time.
I'm with you on that. What about you, Cal?
Oh, on average, the episodes are about what, 30, 33 minutes?
No
30,
more. No, like 40 minutes. No.
40 minutes? Okay, good, 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 good. Because even with that amount of time, they're going to wrap up all of this in the next and last episode?
Well,
Yeah.
it's
First
already been
episodes, we
greenlit
don't
for
know
a
who the
second season.
heavy is. We've
It's
got
already been
no
greenlit for a
direction
second
for
season.
Loki. I thought maybe in that first episode, we would get to see, like, they had one cool scene where Loki's on an airplane and he's doing his thing. I was like, okay, maybe we get some more of this. I get to see, some of his history, this type of stuff. And, maybe he's trying to repair something. Instead, it's been like it was this long slog of dialogue between Loki, the female Loki, who's Sylvie. It looks like that he's falling in love with himself, which is me, like, this is just weird. I'm really not digging this at all, especially since Sylvie is not hot. So it's not dragging me. It's not dragging me into it. Now, no, when Sif came on and Sif was acting out that little bit from the pros Edda where Loki cuts off her hair in the actual myths, that was actually fun. I was like, oh, okay, it's good to see Sif again. They're actually acting something now. It looks as Loki's being himself. He's being mischievous. Not necessarily evil. And that was just like a punishment for him. I was like, no, you're punishing me. You're punishing me because I've been watching this for 5 episodes and nothing's happening. I'm not getting anything out of this. So now we got the 6th episode. And here's the thing. I'll be equally angry if the 6th episode does wrap everything up. That means you strung me along for 5 episodes when you didn't have to at the end of the day. So we don't know who the heavy is. We have no idea what's going to become of Loki. We don't know what's going to become of Sylvie, even though we know she's not going anywhere. Morbius. Oh, there's too much hanging around over here. And biggest thing for me, Throg. Okay, I miss Throg. If Professor CA didn't tell me about Throg, I would have never seen it because that's how divested I was, from the whole show. I was like, okay, I must have nodded off, hit my chin against my chest, woke up, and I missed Throg, along those lines. But that part was actually interesting because Throg is actually, he must be a variant to some extent, but he's there. So I was like, okay, let me get a little bit more of this. No, I got to deal with more of these Lokis and all this other nonsense. And then the best Loki I've seen so far was the Loki who could do magic, who's closer to the Loki from the comics at the end of the day. And what do? They kill him off. So I'm stuck over here with redundant Loki number 1 and 2. So if only so this is over. I am, to my chagrin, I have to admit it, I had high hopes for this series. I just wanted to look forward to something that wasn't going to be tied to the movies. I guess I was wrong, and somehow this is actually tied to the movies. I got busted with WandaVision because that was the origin of the Scarlet Witch, and Toy Falcon and Winter Soldier, even though these guys are going to leave me hanging because that had to be the origin of Falcon becoming Captain America. Now I was into this. I was like, okay, just 6 episodes of Rock'em Sock'em fun. You got Tom Hiddleston. We know the Loki's a cool character. Give me what you got. What did I get? I got nothing. So,
but Calvin, what's left, or anybody, what's left to be wrapped up
in Loki?
Yeah.
Well, who's the bad guy?
I think there's a lot to be wrapped up. I mean, first of all, they've already greenlit it for 2 seasons, so I don't think we're gonna. They're
2 seasons of this?
That's scary. That means they don't have to wrap anything up.
Well, I think they're gonna definitely leave some loose threads, and some of them, I think, because of the time variant authority, there's been so many hints of Kang throughout it, and we can definitely probably be there. May be a Loki as the immediate villain or the immediate issue, and then there may be Kang probably overall. Because I mean, look, time is Kang's thing. We have so many things from. We have characters that look like Lang, or statues that look like Kang. We have Ramona, who is we know is Kang's lover and stuff like that. And time, of course, this is his bailiwick. And I think that I don't know if we're going to ever see him in the show, but I think there's going to be important points leading to it's either him or Loki or another variant of Loki for some reason.
So Loki becomes Kang?
Well,
I'm not saying Loki becomes Kang. I'm saying that they could probably be working together, or he's fighting against Kang. I'm not sure what the situation, or Kang is the ultimate puppet, the puppet master. But I think the immediate thing is that I think there's a Loki in between that, at the very least, to succeed.
What you just put in the chat, I'm gonna put up. This would be a spoiler, wouldn't it? But we can trust that they throw us off all the time. So I'm gonna put this up. Right? Can you see that? This is what Mars had pointed out. This all the authors from this domain that's connected to Kang, right? but this is the Marvel TV, so we say, okay, it has to be Kang. And they say, nope,
Nope,
it's Loki.
doesn't have to be Kang at all. But we do
Doesn't have
know
to be Kang.
that the Tomorrow War is the #1 streaming movie because it was fun.
Oh God, forget this Tomorrow
Loki no
War.
fun.
We're talking about the smoke monster. Look at the smoke monster
No
here,
fun, Loki.
right there.
Loki's a lot of fun. I think it's very enjoyable, particularly if if you like the character.
I actually like Loki.
Me too.
I mean, yeah.
I mean,
I'm a fan. I just am frustrated because I guess I'm starting to feel like I'm starting to see a pattern between the Disney Plus writing rooms in terms of kind of like the general pushes off of the intrigue of what's happening. But I actually like everyone's performance. I love Mobius. Yeah, I'm just kind of curious. Yeah, I just don't know what I'm looking at for the last episode. Maybe something that's going to have to wrap up is actually knowing why they're tracking Lokis in the first place. Why does that seem to be their main focus? So I'm guessing finding out who the villain is, we'll find out.
Yeah, season 2.
But also, why that's the other thing to say that it's Loki is that those temporal things supposed to be erasing people, and somehow it just dumps the Lokis into this thing. It's like, hey, everyone else gets disintegrated.
Doesn't everybody go there and then Elliot eats them? Because Mobius is there.
I believe everybody goes there, and the Lokis are there because they're the best at surviving.
yes. Right.
Oh, okay. So the smoke monster kills all of them when they get there, except for Mobius, who had a car with the pizza on top.
And Throg.
Yeah, but that's the thing. When did Loki and Mobius become friends? Wasn't Mobius upset with him, and then now they're just like,
they've been bonding.
Hey, goodbye.
No, they've been bonding over time. It looks as though come on, I think it is. I mean, you have
buddies.
Yeah, they've been bonding over time from because he thinks that Loki could have helped him track down, which he did. His theory that Loki would help him track down who was killing the other TVA people, which actually worked out.
And he turned on him.
Yeah, well,
he was supposed to capture him. He was supposed to capture, not run through the time thing.
It's like the famous thing of the fox and the what is it? The fox and
you know about the scorpion and the frog?
Scorpion and the frog. Yeah,
that's what he did. He did the scorpion to him, and you're like, hey, at least we figured out what it was, and now I hate myself. I hate myself. You took me from my family. You took me from my family.
All right. So listen, what about Ravonna? What game do you think she's playing? You think that she knows who's in control, or do you think she's herself trying to? What's going on with her?
She is Kang's girlfriend because she is that hot, and that's all I got to say about it.
Is she Kang's girlfriend already?
I don't know, but that's all I can say. As long as we see her in another movie, no Kang is going to be in a movie, and as long as they somehow extract her and put her in some other stuff.
What do you say, Professor CA?
Yeah, we need to see a little bit more Ravonna so we can be sure.
I don't know. Amazing. It looks as though she was kind of shocked when he found out that the Time Masters were puppets and stuff like that. I think she really believed it, at least. Or she's a damn good actress on that.
She seems like a company person. Like she's gonna support. She believes in the TVA. It's giving her purpose, and she's diehard TVA. She's gonna rock with them till it's done, or die trying.
We don't know, and there's a good chance we won't know next episode. Tune in season 3.
No, they're going to give it. They're going to tell us. They're going to pay off who is in charge of the TVA in this next episode.
We don't know that. It could be a movie. There could be.
Yeah, we could just be getting
everything gets
You
solved.
think after all these episodes, they're not going to tell us at least that?
They're going to give us something. They're going to tell us
they're going to give us the
who, why
until next season. That's what they're going to do.
If not who, why? I mean.
There's going to be some tidbit for us to go watch The Black Widow. And that we only can find this out in Russia. And then all the audience says, oh my gosh, I got to run out and see Black Widow. Oh, we got psyched out again.
Yeah, I watched Black Widow.
I watched Black Widow. And it was
Black Widow was a definitive film. So I got to get it some answer here.
Here we go.
Yeah, so I think I watched. We'll do a review of Black Widow, but it was a good movie. That's all I got to say. Okay.
Yeah, it was cool.
That wasn't a glowing endorsement I wanted. You said it was a good movie.
Yeah, I don't trust you, man. That sounds like the resume answer. Like, oh man, all right, it was good. It was good.
You can always start with your energy in the beginning, but in the middle, you ask them, "What do you think about?" It was good. I kind of.
That was a great movie. I enjoyed it very much. I watched it twice already. That shows you.
Wow. Okay.
So
To change it from Mars Tyrannus, Mars Smith, you and Kevin. Selling hard, selling hard.
I'm also kind of segue back to Loki. I'm also kind of looking forward to some reversal. Like there's got to be some reversals that got to happen. I think Loki has promised not to betray Sylvie, but Sylvie has not made such promise. And so I'm kind of like, maybe, yeah, I don't know. I feel there's a reversal there. I still don't trust. It's kind of hard. Like Loki's like redeemed in the first episode, comes in, and Sylvie's made like a sympathetic character really quickly. So I think Sylvie might be playing a long game, and getting Loki's trust as part of that game. And maybe she has more of a clue. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to go too far down the kind of speculation thing, but yeah, I'm waiting. There's got to be some reversal. So either a reversal around Mobius's character or one around Sylvie's, maybe even Renslayer. I don't know.
I mean, I kind of see that too, but what I've been looking at in terms of, you're right, in terms of her, like, you know, she's a character who hasn't committed to a lot of stuff. We do see the change in our Loki, right, in 616 Loki, but we don't see the same thing in terms of, we haven't confirmed with her. There's a lot that we don't know about Sylvie. You know, we've heard her tell us, oh, she's been living between apocalypse, but you see her as a little girl to an adult, so she's had to learn skills and figure things out and connected with other people going forward. So you're right. I don't know. Probably she could be a Trojan horse for Kang, whereby he's put her in there to try to and given her the resources in order to take out the TVA so that Kang can take over the timeline. I don't know, you know, but those are some of the ideas I have in my head. Like, all right, what is she up to? Who is she? Hello?
I'm sorry, that dropped my phone. Sorry.
Yeah. So I mean, that's I'm coming up with that, and she's an interesting character. But the reason I think also that she could be real is that, remember that whole spike when they were holding hands and like, oh my gosh, what the heck is happening? Oh my goodness, is that legit? You know, are they actually having legit feelings with one another? Because, you know, you see, she kind of, when they have that whole, when he creates that little cloak or whatever and puts it over her, you know, she's not getting closer, but she's not stopping it either. But she never commits fully to them being together. While you could see him, he's definitely trying. It's just he doesn't know how to explain himself.
All right, so we got to stop this. We got to stop this part.
That was a great romantic analysis if I've ever heard one. None of that's going to happen.
You may be right. You may be right. You may be right. I'm not going to deny it. You know,
that's the hard part of the you know, the romance or the tender moments between the two of them, because we're kind of getting a Loki that's trying to direct Sylvie or this person who's lost and direct her into something good. And it's like kind of the moments when you're writing something, you say, you know what, I want to give Loki a better sort of background and have him redeem himself and do XYZ. When he's Loki, he just likes to have fun and do whatever he is. He's like, I'll help people take over the world, up until the point where you decide to do Ragnarok. Then I'm not with it, but I kind of helped it go further. And then, you know, in the Walt Simonson run, he helps the elves kind of go further. And then in the end, he's like, hey, wait a second, I'm not really for burning all these worlds, though. That sort of thing. So I would like to have some more fun in Loki and not have too much of the Loki kind of being the sort of the, I don't even want to call it a romance anymore, but sort of the, you know, the shoulder to cry on type of deal.
Yeah. Sylvie's character is interesting because I don't know if they ever said specifically what made her a variant, but it seems like when she was playing with the toys, she was playing with a Valkyrie toys and figures when they came in on her. So I don't know if that's the moment she kind of decided she wanted to be like a hero and or a warrior, which is kind of like where her kind of stick comes from, where she likes to fight and likes to scrap. Yeah, I agree with you, Petey, because that's what I was trying to get at before. It's like what Mars says as well, the idea that the scorpion's gonna, you got a tail stinger, you're gonna want to sting. So who's gonna sting who is really where we're kind of at. Who's gonna betray who?
And the last thing, and going back to this, is going to be the fact that they've thrown the so-called Throg in there makes me upset about Ragnarok, because Ragnarok is basically the story of Thor the Thunder Frog, who loses his hammer because he's turned into a frog, and he helps the frogs in Central Park find their voice, and fight against the rats, because the rats were bound to take them out. We had the same sort of thing, a big battle, but Thor is this huge frog where there's all these tiny frogs, and he's very inspirational in the story. And then you can see where the humor can come out of it. It would be right up, what's a guy, the director of it, like that sort of comedic thing. But of course, we needed to do the World War, what's it, the World War Hulk sort of thing, or Planet Hulk type of stuff. But I was like saying, it would have been so much fun to do the actual story where Thor gets turned into a frog, or animated story. It's still up in the air, but it just pains me because it's such a powerful story. And having Thor, because the same thing happens, only instead of Thor being kind of jokey when he tries to lead the people, Thor is very inspirational in his leading of the frogs. And they don't say, no, you can't stay, you can't leave. Here you can be with this woman. It's like, no, Puddle Gup, he will take he was right here beside me this entire time. And the female frog is really upset, but she understands. But that's my last thing. They just tease me with the damn frogs, and it's such a powerful story.
I never read the story. I'll probably go back and read it now that you broke it down like that, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not reading
the Throg is even more powerful with the
Better Ray Bill story. So I'm not reading no doggone Throg story or Better Ray Bill stories.
Oh my gosh! It's not. It's Thor. It's when Thor runs into the thing is that Thor speaks the animal, the language of the animals. So then when he comes to his goats, they say, "Ah, the frog returns," and he's like, "Tooth Gnasher, you recognize me?" He said, "Hard not to."
That's awesome. That's awesome. Oh, I'm not a big Easter egg person, but there is one Easter egg. That is fairly interesting, and I'm not going to say the Thanos one. Everybody says the Thanos one, but you see the helmet of Yellow Jacket, the Ant-Man villain, is in this as well. So,
Yeah, I've seen a lot of those one-off stuff. Like you see a lot of different things. I'm just thinking that particular variant just got out of hand, and they just brought them there. Like,
why would that be there though? It has
but because it would be there, it would be cool. What I'm thinking is maybe that it's because my guess has always been is that they're in the quantum realm, and that's where this exists, which would make total sense for Yellow Jacket's helmet to be there, because he looked like he was shrank down into the quantum realm himself when he was by the end of that film. So that would actually be a cool Easter egg if that was really left to kind of like tie it back. But then again, that does tie it back to potentially Kang, but whatever. But I think it's the quantum realm. My long point.
interesting.
And then we can get right into, what I'm gonna do. The 20 people out there that's watching, Quantanamania. Maria, Quantanamania. Quantanamania. Woo!
Okay, so then, guys, is there anything else you guys want to cover? Now that I think we've covered quite a bit of it.
Everything we could on Loki, Thor, Quantum. We haven't found a way to drag in the Guardians, but we'll do next time. Who knows how much they must be setting up for this next movie, the next part of the Phase 5. So
the last part, who do we think is at the end of that time? Who do we think is in that castle? Petey, give me a name.
I just said that it has to be Loki. That's the only thing I left.
There's a CA. Who do you think it could be at that time?
The plot.
Other than the plot, a person.
It is King Loki.
Cal, who do you think it is?
Who, the bad?
Yeah, who's the bad guy? Who's going to be?
Man, I want to say something smart ass like Kevin Feige, but I just don't know.
Okay, so listen, I'm agreeing with you with Loki, but at the very end, I'm also thinking distant Kang is possibly there too. Gentlemen, thanks once again for joining us. Everybody, if you like what you see, thumbs up, subscribe, give us comments. Spin a rack. Out.